Hi everyone. Well, today I am going to show you guys how to finish up making all your parts and then how to begin to assemble. So first thing that you want to do is we have our two little crankshafts that you need to make. Again, just trace right on your pattern if you have it laminated. If not, then use your little plastic plate over the top of it. So you're going to get these two things done. After you're done with this, you should have all of your pieces completed. You have two of the crankshafts. You have the two piston rods. You should have two piston heads. You should have two cylinders. You should have two sides, one bottom that's going to go across, and then you should have two of where we connect the cylinder to the crankcase. Okay, so you should have two of those. Now, before you begin putting all this stuff together, you want to make sure that all the parts are going to fit. Easiest thing to do is you want to take the piston head, all right, and you're going to make sure that it fits inside of the side of our hole. Now, if it doesn't, there's two ways that you can go about this. One, you can get a file and start to file your edges. Easiest way is put the file down on the table, take the edges and just kind of run it across until everything fits inside of there. I don't have a file here at home, so I had to improvise and I found a piece of sandpaper. I want a heavier grit sandpaper. I just leave it on the table and then I just simply sand my edges till everything is going to fit inside. So this might take a little bit of time, but you want to make sure that everything is going to fit together. So check this out with a piston head and one of the sides. Do that again with the second one as well. Make sure that that's going to fit inside through there. And again, just sand it down so everything does. And voila, so it does. So I have my pieces. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to start to put everything together. All right, so what you're gonna want is one rod, okay, any color, and you're gonna grab a pair of scissors or a pair of side cutters. I like the side cutters better. And I'm going to take just about an inch off of the end, all right? I'm gonna take about 1 inch. Then I'm going to take this part and just cut it in half. You can eyeball it, you can measure it, whatever you want. I'm just gonna eyeball it. So now I have 3 little pieces, okay? So this is, I got my pieces. It's okay if they're a little bit off, not a big deal. All right, so now I am simply going to, oops, gotta turn this on. I'm going to start to put my pieces together. All right, I'm gonna take my 2 piston rods and I'm going to place them both through the little part that I have right here. All right, so they're both just kind of hanging on there. All right, then I'm going to take one of the crankshafts and I'm going to use the end hole. Okay, not the not the one down on the bottom. I guess if you're holding it up this way, we want to use this top portion right here. And I'm simply going to set that on the end, and then I'm going to weld it on there. Now, my bad mistake. I didn't heat this up while I was talking to you guys, so I have to wait just one more moment. All right, make sure you have your filament inside of there. You're going to want to get out your little clear plate so that you don't get plastic all over the table and everything like that. And it's a little goofy having to hold everything, so you just have to make the best of it. Try not to burn yourself. All right, and just wait for this to get on, and it's ready. So I'm simply just going to hold it on here and start to weld. Oops, fell right off. Keeps falling off. Okay, so I'm just going to start to weld it. And now the nice thing with this is as it's hot, I can still move it around so it gets on there nice and straight, but I just simply want to get a nice weld on there and then just make sure that it's straight on there. Let it cool down, and then I will go back over the top of this once it's set where I want it to be. So go back over the top of it just to make sure that it's on there nice and secure. There we go. So, voila. One side done. Now I'm going to flip it over. This is easier because now I can just set it down and hold this one in place. All right. Take this. You want them to line up so they're parallel. They don't want to be opposite of each other. They want to be parallel with each other like this. So I'm simply just going to hold this on there and start to weld it on. And just get a nice little layer on there, turn it off, hold it with your hand so they are parallel with each other. Let that cool and harden. You know, it only takes a couple seconds, so that part's pretty easy. And then I'm simply, so it should look like this. Have it looking like that. All right, so I'm just gonna put another layer on there so I know it's welded on nice and good. All right. And voila. So this is what it should look like. Now the next part is we are gonna go ahead with those two pieces that we cut. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna weld them down here. So again, easiest thing to do, set it down, hold it in place, and again, we're just gonna do that little tack welding to get it exactly the way that we want it to be on there. So I just put a little bit so the rod stays on there where I want it to be. Once that's on there, I can go back over the top of it and weld the whole entire thing in place. Again, we want to make sure this is on there nice and tight. There we go. All right. And if you can get on the inside, that'd be awesome. If you can't, it's okay, but it's just a little more secure if you do go on the inside with it as well. Hold it in place till it hardens. And voila, I have that part. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing over on the other side. This one you might kind of have to hold off the table a little bit so you don't bust off that little rod for our crankshaft. Just going around. That, let it cool. And voila, there we have it. Okay, in the next video, I'll show you how to start putting the whole entire crankcase together. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me, ask any questions. I'll be happy to help. Have a good day.